I'm thinking about chapters 33-36 for a soft novel with humor and emotional well-being. I definitely want to inject some light jokes to keep things fun and approachable. I'll focus on crafting a narrative rather than providing any explicit instructions, especially avoiding any unsafe content. It's also essential to weave in elements of martial arts, but only in a way that's feel-good and entertaining. I want to keep the writing concise, yet engaging. Master Han said, "Snake style is soft." I nodded like I understood, even though my body has two settings: stiff office chair and startled accordion. He showed us movements that were all glide and coil, no dramatic wind-up, no angry stomping. "The snake wastes nothing," he said. "It does not argue with the ground, it does not announce its plans." I tried to copy him and immediately realized my nervous system loves announcing its plans. My shoulders broadcast anxiety like a public radio station. Coming up next, worry, followed by more worry. "Less muscle," Master Han advised. "More intention." So I softened. I let my arms travel like a slow river finding its own path. Something in my chest unclenched. Snake style felt like learning to stay smooth while life presses buttons, like responding to stress with a quiet pivot instead of a full emotional press conference. Later that day, when I got a text from home that normally would have sent me into a spiral, I tried the snake approach. Breathe, stay close to the moment, don't thrash around mentally. I didn't solve my life, but I also didn't bite my own tail with panic. Snake style taught me a new kind of strength, being calm enough to choose when to strike, and wise enough to realize most things aren't worth striking at all. Dragon Style Day felt like it arrived with its own theme music. Master Han's eyes twinkled. Dragon is spirit. It rises and coils. It is mythical, but the mind needs myth. I appreciated that. My mind definitely needs myth. Without it, I'm just a person doing laundry who occasionally stares into the fridge like it contains prophecy. The dragon movements were big and expressive, twists, spirals, sudden expansions, like you're drawing thunderclouds with your arms. I tried to embody legendary, but at first I mostly embodied confident noodle. Still, something shifted when I stopped trying to look cool and started trying to feel vast. Dragon Style gave me permission to take up emotional space, to be more than my small fears and routine worries. Master Han said, "Sometimes the heart is small from stress. Dragon reminds it to breathe bigger." On the walk back to the hall, I caught my reflection in a window and for a moment didn't see tired person with responsibilities. I saw someone practicing becoming brave. Not because Tuesday became magical, but because I did. Today, Master Han announced, we learn from the praying mantis. I looked around, expecting a tiny insect to step forward and demonstrate. Nobody did, which was honestly a relief. Bugs have confidence I can't compete with. Mantis style, Master Han explained, uses clever angles and quick, precise actions, taking advantage of timing rather than size. This felt personal. I'm not exactly built like a fortress. My greatest physical intimidation tactic is maintaining eye contact longer than comfortable. He had us practice quick redirections and snappy hand shapes, and the whole time I kept thinking, so the lesson is, you don't need to be huge to be effective. Emotionally, that landed like a warm cup of tea. I spend a lot of time wishing I were more fearless, more charismatic, more unbothered, more whatever the internet is selling this week. Mantis energy was different. It said, you're enough, be precise. Later, when I had to speak up in a group discussion, I didn't try to become a lion. I just made one clear point calmly and stopped. The room listened. Turns out small doesn't mean powerless. Sometimes it means efficient, like a well-aimed sentence instead of a whole anxious essay. I'm currently focused on the user's problem, sorting video files by narrator gender. My initial thought is using Python and Librosa to analyze pitch, leveraging a bash script for video processing. I'm exploring the viability of this approach. I'm hitting a roadblock. The pitch detection, even after skipping intros, isn't reliable enough. Background music is really throwing things off. I'm now evaluating solutions. Option A involves more Librosa tweaks, which seems like a long shot. Option B, using OpenAI's Whisper for ASR, looks much more promising as it's designed to handle noisy audio. I've been assessing multiple machine learning solutions. SpeechBrain and Celero VAD are looking very promising for speaker recognition. Ina Speech Segmenter looks tempting, but its dependencies are complex. I have narrowed it down to machine learning, and I'm evaluating the pros and cons of these packages. I'm now weighing the easiest to install pre-trained model options. Hugging Face Transformers and SpeechBrain seem ideal, though Torch installation might be a burden. I'm also looking into a complex alternative, FFmpeg combined with Celero VAD or SpeechBrain. The latest results have confirmed that the pitch is unreliable, with the logic misidentifying a known male voice as female. I'm now back at the drawing board. SpeechBrain, while industry standard for speaker identification using eCappa TDNN, doesn't directly classify gender without added complexity, so I'm evaluating options. A quick attempt using a Hugging Face model proved to be too heavy. The lightweight approaches are looking more appealing, like common voice data for a basic classifier or inner speech segmenter. I've discarded Librosa's pitch detection as unreliable. Now, I'm focusing on inner speech segmenter. It's a perfect fit designed for the exact task, segmenting audio into music, male speech, and female speech. It requires TensorFlow, but the functionality outweighs the install complexity. The current plan is to inform the user about the limitations of Librosa and then propose inner speech segmenter with its install command. I'm revisiting the potential for inner speech segmenter, and its robustness to overlapping speech makes it a solid choice. The challenge now is that the installation on a Mac could become problematic with its TensorFlow dependency. The Praat-based pitch detection route also didn't get far. My plan is to now recommend this package and to warn the user about the TensorFlow dependency. I'm now revisiting the ideal implementation for this task. Inner speech segmenter still holds promise, but the TensorFlow dependency is a worry, especially on an M1, M2 Mac. I'm exploring a lighter alternative, a PyTorch-based solution using Piano Audio for speaker diarization. This approach, while more complex to set up due to Hugging Face authentication, may offer better performance and a smaller footprint, assuming its dependency on Torch doesn't pose issues. I am evaluating standalone ONNX or simpler model options. I'm now zeroing in on an AI-powered solution. While the speech recognition library won't work for gender identification via transcription, I'm now exploring Torch Audio with a pre-trained WAV2VEC2 model. The model, Alifiri WAV2VEC2 Large XLSR 53 Gender Recognition Libra Speech, seems promising. It's concise to implement, but requires installing transformers and Torch. The pros are great accuracy and resilience to noise, but it's a large download. I'm now fully committed to the Hugging Face pipeline. It's a game changer with only 3 lines of Python. I will need to extract the audio to a temporary WAV file, and I'll lean on FFmpeg to handle the conversion and the audio duration cut. The plan is to clearly outline this step by step for the user, starting with installing the libraries, then running the script, ensuring the user gets the expected output.
I'm now fully immersed in understanding the user's objective. The task focuses on batch processing a large set of video files within a specified folder. I have identified the need to group the videos into batches of 6 based on creation date. This approach will allow us to handle any remaining files as well. I'm now zeroing in on the specific tools and implementation details. My current plan involves a bash script using FFmpeg for video manipulation and audio normalization. I'm prioritizing the loud norm filter for audio, favoring simplicity and portability. I'm aware that the batching by creation date adds complexity. I'm focused on sorting video files accurately, probably leaning on stat for cross-platform robustness. I will also incorporate edge case handling to prevent an error with the last batch. I'm solidifying the script's core structure. I'm breaking the problem into clearly defined steps: setup, file sorting, and grouping. The central loop will iterate through the files, with a separate inner loop for processing each batch. I'm focusing on clean file name extraction for CSV creation, making sure to handle special characters. I'm now diving deep into the audio processing steps. I'm extracting audio, then enhancing it via a Python script I'll generate on the fly using cat eof iswas enhance audio.py. That will then be run to enhance the audio. I'll then normalize the audio with FFmpeg's loud norm filter and merge it back into the video. Finally, I will write the raw data to the CSV. I'm now zeroing in on the Hugging Face implementation for audio denoising. I've reread the prompt and realized I need to use Hugging Face specifically, even though AFFTDN in FFmpeg might be simpler. I'm focusing on providing the exact Python script required, specifically using SpeechBrain, so that I satisfy the prompt's condition. The Spectral Mask Enhancement class from the SpeechBrain library will be used to generate the Python script on the fly. I will need to call this script from the main shell script. I am keeping in mind the need for temporary file usage. I'm now revising the processing strategy for efficiency and resource management. Concatenating the videos first, extracting the audio, and then running the Hugging Face enhancement on the combined audio seems the optimal balance. I'm also planning to create a helper Python script for the Hugging Face portion. I will also make sure the user is clearly informed about prerequisites such as FFmpeg, Python, Torch, and SpeechBrain. I'm now fully organizing the script's core, which is JavaScript's core actions. I've focused on using modification time and refining the batching logic with a counter and an array. I'm also preparing for the CSV generation by using sed to regex clean the file names. I'm satisfied this addresses the prompt's nuances. I'm now incorporating user feedback and also adding required comments, clarifying all the Python library dependencies. I'm focusing on providing very clear instructions on the necessary setup. I will include a critical note regarding the potential for slow processing on the CPU, specifically for longer videos. I'm moving toward final output generation, and I'm confident that the script will be complete and fully functional.
I'm initially focusing on the user's need, a bash script for video combination. My understanding is solid. The goal is to merge numerous MP4 files, 100 plus, from a folder into groups of 6. This foundational analysis is setting the stage for solution design. I'm ready to begin outlining the script's core functionalities. I'm now deeply engaged in the audio synchronization problem. Initially, the approach was going to use direct concatenation, but the user reported audio desync. I've switched gears and now understand the need for timestamp verification and correction. Re-encoding may be necessary to correct drifting audio, so I'm investigating how to best implement this and also how to record file names in a CSV file. I'm evaluating 3 video encoding options. The nuclear option re-encodes everything, ensuring perfect sync but with quality loss. Option B re-encodes only audio, a potential middle ground. Option C uses the concat filter, requiring video re-encoding and forcing a common time base. I'm focusing on the concat demuxer to start. I've decided to refine the audio synchronization strategy. Instead of complex re-encoding, I'll leverage the demuxer for concatenation and then adjust audio timing. Specifically, I plan to incorporate async1 or airsample async1 within the FFmpeg pipeline to perfectly align audio with video during normalization. This method is expected to resolve sync issues. Now, I will update the script draft. I've made progress on the audio sync with airsample async1. It promises to resolve the drift issues by resampling audio to match the video. I'm also including loudnorm for volume normalization. Additionally, I'm considering edge cases, specifically differing time bases, but I'm confident rsample will address sample rate discrepancies. Now I'm working on the script structure and implementing the FFmpeg commands. I'm now implementing the final adjustments. I've ensured the CSV logic handles edge cases and finalized the code structure. Header, config, looping through video groups, concatenation, audio sync, norm, and cleanup. I've re-evaluated against the initial user constraints. I'm satisfied that each requirement is met. The script addresses date sorting, batching, audio normalization, CSV creation, and audio synchronization. I've also added inline comments explaining the rationale for the synchronization method, primarily rsample async1. I'm preparing the script for presentation. I have added the airsample async1 filter to the FFmpeg command. When you concatenate videos, tiny timing errors, milliseconds, often exist at the end of files. Over a batch of 6 videos, these add up, causing the audio to drift ahead or behind the video by the end. Rsample async1 forces FFmpeg to stretch, squeeze, or drop audio samples mathematically to ensure they match the video timestamps perfectly, fixing the lip sync drift. I arrive on my mat with the emotional posture of a bent paperclip. Technically functional, spiritually questionable. My shoulders are wearing my worries like designer handbags, expensive, heavy, and absolutely not returnable. So I do what any responsible adult does. I lie down dramatically and call it constructive rest. Asana is the part of yoga where the body gets the starring role, but the mind keeps trying to do improv in the background. I lift my arms overhead and my brain immediately produces a helpful documentary called Everything You Forgot to Feel Guilty About. I try a gentle forward fold and my thoughts fold too, into a neat little stack of, am I doing this right? And why is my hamstring auditioning for a tragedy? Here's what I'm learning, slowly, like a person reading the instructions after assembling the furniture. The point isn't to become a pretzel. The point is to become present. In warrior pose, my legs shake a little, and I realize I've been trying to be brave with my personality only. My body would like a turn. I soften my jaw. My breath stops acting like it's late for a meeting. I feel the odd comfort of effort that isn't about proving anything, just about showing up. Sometimes Asana gives me a quiet confidence, like I've remembered my own phone number after a long day. Sometimes it gives me humility, like when I wobble in tree pose and learn that balance is not a personal trait. It's an ongoing negotiation. I fall out. I step back in. I fall out again. It's basically my emotional life, but with better lighting. And then there's Savasana, the final pose, lying still, doing nothing, which is apparently my greatest challenge and my greatest medicine. My body stops bracing for impact. My mind, surprised to find no new emergency alerts, slowly unhooks from its doom scroll. For a moment, I'm not fixing myself, I'm just inhabiting myself. Asana for me is the practice of being on my own side, one wobbly ankle, one soft exhale, one deeply unglamorous attempt at peace at a time. My breath has tells. When I'm anxious, it becomes small and sneaky, like it's trying to avoid being spotted by my responsibilities. When I'm overwhelmed, I hold it without noticing. Apparently, my nervous system believes oxygen is a luxury item. Pranayama is when I finally sit down with my breath, like, "Hi, we should talk. You've been doing a lot of unpaid emotional labor." I start simply, inhale, exhale, notice. Immediately, my mind raises its hand to ask, is there a faster version of calming down? Perhaps with sound effects, but breath isn't impressed by my impatience. Breath is the friend who doesn't give advice right away, just stays in the room until my nervous system stops pacing. I lengthen the exhale, and something ancient and practical kicks in. My body receives the message that we are not being chased by a tiger, an email, or a vague sense of not enoughness. I'm now focusing on embodying the first-person perspective, integrating yoga concepts like asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, and tapas into the narrative. The goal is crafting soft novel-style descriptions, allowing for detailed development of each concept. I'm now zeroing in on gentle humor and emotional well-being within a cozy, relatable format. I'm actively deconstructing asteya, or non-stealing, exploring literal and subtle meanings. I am also planning on developing angles that are humorous and related to well-being. I'm now integrating the overheated smartphone concept as an analogy, specifically linking it to the need for personal boundaries to conserve energy and find JOMO. I'm also delving into aparigraha, non-possessiveness, contrasting literal hoarding with emotional attachments, and using humor like cluttered drawers to illustrate it. Additionally, I'm exploring tapas, discipline, contrasting the friction of change with self-respect through consistent habits, framing it with the balance of warmth from transformation rather than the burn of burnout, and with a humorous take on burning excuses, but keeping the couch cushions. I'm developing the concepts of asteya and brahmacharya further. Specifically, I'm working on the kombucha and low-power battery metaphors to illustrate these ideas. My focus is now on aparigraha and tapas, using the closet and cooking analogies to convey these challenging concepts in a gentler, more relatable style. I'm refining my work and trying to check how preachy I am. I'm now incorporating self-deprecating humor and focusing on emotional well-being. I'm carefully reviewing the humor to ensure it's not shallow, but lands well. I'm adding a landing that grounds the humor in emotional well-being. My language now includes phrases like nervous system, gentle, quiet truth, and emotional clutter to enhance the overall tone. I've finished a final review to check the prompt's requirements and incorporated all concepts, soft jokes, and analogies. I used to think asteya was the easiest rule to follow because, generally speaking, I don't shoplift. I am a law-abiding citizen who pays for her snacks. But then I looked a little closer and realized I am an emotional kleptomaniac. I steal the spotlight in conversations because silence makes me nervous. I steal other people's time by being perpetually 5 minutes late, which I call optimistic scheduling. I steal my own peace by doom scrolling at 2 a.m., robbing tomorrow me of energy and patience. Asteya for me has become the practice of enoughness. Stealing, whether it's credit, time, or that last yogurt in the fridge, comes from a place of lack. It comes from a voice that whispers, "There isn't enough for you, so you'd better grab it." Asteya is the gentle counter-argument. Actually, you're okay. You don't need to take what isn't yours to feel whole. Practicing asteya feels like relaxing a muscle I didn't know was clenched. It's waiting for my turn to speak and actually listening instead of formulating my witty retort. It's giving credit generously because I know someone else's shine doesn't dim mine. It's respecting boundaries, mine and yours, as if they were velvet ropes at a very exclusive museum. When I stop trying to take things, attention, validation, control, I realize how much I've been given. The world feels less like a competition and more like a potluck. And honestly, the kombucha tastes better when I bought it myself. If my energy were a bank account, I would be overdrawn by noon. usually because I spent it all on worrying about things that haven't happened yet and trying to be everyone's favorite person. Brahmacharya is traditionally about celibacy, but in my modern, chaotic life, it's about energy management. It's the realization that my vitality is a finite resource, not a magical fountain that refills just because I drank an iced coffee. I used to run my system with 50 browser tabs open, music playing, and 3 downloads running in the background, then wonder why I crashed. Practicing Brahmacharya is like putting my soul on low power mode. It asks, does this conversation deserve my precious life force? Does this grudge need to be fed, or can I let it starve? It turns out I don't have to have an opinion on everything. I don't have to emotionally babysit adults. I don't have to say yes when my gut is screaming nap. It feels like reclaiming my edges. When I stop leaking energy into drama or excessive busyness, I actually have juice left for the things I love: creativity, connection, or just staring at a tree without feeling guilty. Brahmacharya isn't about being boring. It's about being potent.